Good day everyone, I am Dexter Mafantes and together with my group mates, we are tasked to discuss the cardiovascular system and blood circulation. I will be the first one to discuss about cardiovascular system and the heart's anatomy. So to start, I want your observation on the following image. So unsa inyong nakita or na-observe sa picture? So makita nato ang atong heart o kasing-kasing nipitik para makadagan ang atong dugo sa atong tibuok lawas. Muna siya trabaho sa ato ang circulatory system o gitawag nato cardiovascular system. So kabaw naman ta kung unsa ang cardiovascular system o ihang different parts kay nahibaw-an naman nato sa ato ang elementary o high school. So what is cardiovascular system? The cardiovascular system, also known as the circulatory system, is a complex network of organs, blood vessels, and blood that is responsible for transporting vital substances throughout the body. So kaning vital substance kay ang blood which nag-compose siya og important materials like water, nutrients, hormones, oxygen og cell waste, and other substance vital for body homeostasis to and from cells. So importante ni sila para ma-maintain nato ang atong homeostasis or balanse sa ato lawas ug sa proper functioning sa ato ang organ system. This organ system is composed of its K parts, namely heart, blood, and blood vessels. So heart. The heart is a muscular organ that acts as a powerful pump propelling blood throughout the body. Blood. Blood is a fluid connective tissue that circulates within the cardiovascular system, carrying oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and immune cells. Blood vessels. Blood vessels form a network of tubes that transport blood to and from the heart. They include arteries, veins, and capillaries. So the heart. The heart is responsible for pumping blood throughout the body. The heart contracts and relaxes rhythmically to propel blood through the blood vessels. The heart weighs about 250 to 390 gram in men and 200 to 275 gram in women, and is a little larger than the owner's closed fist. The right side of the heart receives deoxygenated blood from the body and pumps it to the lungs for oxygenation. The left side of the heart receives oxygenated blood from the lungs and pumps it into the rest of the body. The heart's location. Our heart is located at the thoracic cavity or chest o dughan in the mediastinum between the lungs. Bali natungan siya sa ato baga o behind siya sa ato ang left of the sternum breastbone o ang bukog nga nasa tunga sa ato ang dugan. Our heart consists of 4 chambers which are right atrium. The right atrium is one of the upper chambers of the heart. It receives deoxygenated blood from the body through the superior vena cava, which brings blood from the upper body, and the inferior vena cava, which brings blood from the lower body and pumps it into the right ventricle. So ang atong right atrium diay usa siya sa ato ang upper chamber sa heart nga nag-receive og deoxygenated blood nga gikan sa ato lawas pinaagi sa superior vena cava nga nagdala og blood nga gikan sa upper body. Then ang inferior vena cava nga nagdala og blood nga gikan sa ato lower body nga ipumps niya dito sa ato ang right ventricle. So the right ventricle. The right ventricle is one of the lower chambers of the heart. It receives deoxygenated blood from the right atrium and pumps it into the lungs through the pulmonary artery. The pulmonary artery divides into smaller vessels that carry blood to the capillaries in the lungs, where oxygen is picked up and carbon dioxide is released. So ang right ventricle ay usa siya sa ato ang lower chamber sa heart nga nag-receive gyapon siya og deoxygenated blood nga gikan sa ato ang right atrium nga ipumps niya dito sa atong lungs pinaagi sa pulmonary artery. Ang pulmonary artery ay i-divide siya into smaller vessels nga nag-carry of blood to the capillaries in the lungs nga diin kuha kuno ang oxygen ug ang carbon dioxide gi-release. Left atrium. The left atrium is another upper chambers of the heart. It receives oxygenated blood from the lungs through the pulmonary veins and pumps it into the left ventricle. So ang ato dayang left atrium usa gyapon siya sa ato ang upper chamber sa heart nga nag-receive og oxygenated blood nga gikan sa lungs pinaagi sa pulmonary veins nga ipumps niya dito sa ato ang left ventricle. So the left ventricle. The left ventricle is the largest and strongest chambers of the heart. It receives oxygenated blood from the left atrium and pumps it into the rest of the body through the aorta, the largest artery in the body. The left ventricle's powerful contracts ensure that oxygenated blood is distributed to all organs and tissue. So ang ato daing left ventricle usa sa pinakadako o pinakakusgan chamber sa heart nga nag-receive gyapon siya og oxygenated blood nagikan sa ato ang left atrium nga pump niya dito sa ato the rest sa ato lawas pinaagi sa aorta nga pinakadako nga artery sa ato lawas. Ang ato daing left ventricle nag-construct siya og kusog para ma-ensure nga mabahin-bahin ang atong oxygenated blood og ma-distribute sa tanan organs ug tissues. So that's all for my report. The next reporter will be Mr. Glenn Jeffrey Lomando.
So I discuss about urethra, coronary arteries, coronary veins, and pulmonary. So first, urethra is the largest blood vessels of the heart. The urethra carries and distributes oxygen-rich blood to all arteries. So, urethra, muna siya largest blood vessels of your circulatory system. O si urethra sa ang carries and distributes oxygenated rich blood to all arteries. So siya ang naghatag og oxygen rich blood sa imuhang arteries. Makita nimo kanang sa imong heart na ay kanang dako kanang puwad ra nga dako mao na siya kuan kanang babaw mao na siyang aorta mao na siyang aorta largest blood vessels. So coronary arteries originate from the base of the urethra just above the aortic valve. So kani si coronary arteries muna siya ang main function is to supply blood to the heart. So siya ang nagsupply og dugo padung sa imuhang heart. So coronary veins after supplying oxygenated blood to the heart muscles, the coronary arteries are collect the oxygenated blood and drain into coronary veins. So, makikita nyo sa picture, si coronary veins, ikaw mag-supply sa oxygenated blood gikan ni aorta, si coronary arteries iyang i-collect ang deoxygenated blood. So kani oxygenated blood o deoxygenated blood, kani oxygenated mo ni siya ang lapsaw nga dugo. Ang deoxygenated mo ni siya ang sticky nga dugo. So si coronary arteries iyang kuhaon ng mga deoxygenated blood tapos i-drain na siya ni coronary veins. So si coronary veins naa niya ang deoxygenated blood, ang sticky nga dugo. So pulmonary carried the oxygenated blood to the lungs. Pulmonary veins are from the left atrium in the lungs, right superior, right inferior, left superior, and left inferior pulmonary veins. The venae cavae, or superior and inferior, are the two largest veins in the body. So kani si pulmonary, so ang deoxygenated blood dito naman ni coronary veins. So kani si pulmonary, siya sad ang mo carry sa deoxygenated blood. So maapila siya sa sticky nga blood padong sa imuhang lungs. So we have dito ato padong ni right superior, right inferior, left superior, and left inferior pulmonary veins. So superior and inferior mao ni siya ang kuan sa imong body. Superior carries blood from the head, neck, arteries, arms, and chest. So si inferior mao siya ang nag carry blood from the legs, feet, and organs in the abdomen and pelvis. So mana siya ang mga kanang sa imong heart mana siyang para magdaog mga oxygenated blood. Sila ang mag travel sa imong heart. So let's proceed to the blood.
So good day everyone, I'm Sinchelo Lingane and I will discuss about the human blood. So there are four components of blood which is red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and the plasma. So all of these have a different role of our body. So red blood cells. The red blood cells contain a protein called hemoglobin. So what is hemoglobin? So hemoglobin is a protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen. So hemoglobin mo ni siya ang tinaw nga liquid nga mugawas after sa red blood. So like for example, nasamad ta sa like kanang mga open wound. So di ba maguna ang red blood after ang hemoglobin because it is because to protect the atong red blood. Muna siya ang trabaho sa hemoglobin. So, and it can also transport carbon dioxide, a waste product from tissues back to the lungs for exhalation. Next is white blood cells. So, white blood cells are part of the immune system and they protect the body against infection and diseases. So, like for example, mahilantan ka, muna siya sign sa hinay ka og immune system. So, that's why we need to eat the healthy foods, like for example mga fruits, vegetables, or etc. So platelets are small cell fragments that play crucial role in blood clotting. So it helps stop bleeding by forming clots and promoting the repair of damaged blood. So next is plasma. So what is plasma? Plasma is the liquid component of blood making up about 55% of its volume. So look at the picture and observe. So it is a yellowish fluid consisting mainly of water but also contains proteins, electrocytes, hormones, nutrients, waste products, and various other substances. So, and plasma also helps transport these substances throughout the body.
Hi guys, I am James Sergio Montoya and I am here to discuss about blood circulation and coronary artery disease. So blood circulation has two major pathways, which is pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. As you can see in the picture here, this is how our blood travels to our body. Blood circulation starts when deoxygenated blood comes to our right atrium of our heart through the vena cava. When the right atrium is full, it will contract the blood to the right ventricle. And og mapuno na po ang right ventricle of blood, it will pump the blood to the pulmonary arteries to the lungs. So if the blood gets to the lungs, there will be a gas exchange that will happen in the capillary bed of the lungs. So ang blood na mogawas sa atong lungs will be freshly oxygenated blood. That freshly oxygenated blood will travel to our pulmonary veins to the left atrium of the heart. And when the left atrium is full of blood, it will contract the blood to the left ventricle. O mapuno na pod gani ang left ventricle, it will pump the blood through the aorta, which travels to the systemic arteries to our body tissues. When the blood gets to our body tissues, there will be another gas exchange that will occur in the capillary bed of our body tissues. So ang mogawas na blood sa atong body tissues will be deoxygenated blood, and that deoxygenated blood will travel to the right atrium of the heart. So that is how our blood travels throughout our body. So let's talk about coronary artery disease. So coronary artery disease or CAD is the most common type of heart disease. So karon ako i-discuss og unsay mahitabo og naa kaani nga disease. So we all know that our heart is the responsible for pumping blood throughout our body. And if we do physical activities, our heart will pump faster. So if magpump og paspas atong heart, it will need oxygen and blood. So makaunhaw na ta nganong mag-need man og oxygen ang heart nga ang iya gipump nga blood is naa may oxygen rich blood. So yes, naay oxygen rich blood inside the heart, but that oxygen is di kalusot sa heart muscle kay ang problema ang heart muscle is too thick. So the solution for this is our coronary arteries. So sa heart naay duha ka buok coronary arteries, which is kaning duha ka buok ugat sa gawas sa heart, which is the right coronary arteries and the left coronary arteries. So ako i-discuss og saon pagbuo sa coronary artery disease or CAD. So let's say inside your coronary arteries is naay blood flow sa blood vessel. And inside that blood flow naay red blood cells, white blood cells, o let's say naay cholesterol. And downstream sa imong left coronary artery is naay damage nga blood vessel wall. So if makita na sa cholesterol, it will start to deposit itself inside that damaged blood vessel wall. So timaw makakita pud ang white blood cell ana musunod siya sa cholesterol. Kaya ang iya mission is to get that cholesterol out of that damaged blood vessel wall. So that whole thing that happened there will start a process called atherosclerosis or ang pagharden sa damaged blood vessel wall. And throughout that process, daghan og white blood cells ang mamatay. So the cholesterol will just continue to deposit itself inside that damaged blood vessel wall. So over time, nga sige deposit ang cholesterol o white blood cells inside that damaged blood vessel wall is naay mabuo nga bara. O kan ang bara is also called as plaque, which consists of fatty substances and dead cells. So mo na ang pagbuo sa CAD. So CAD or coronary artery disease is a condition where there is a clog in your coronary arteries.
Everyone, my name is Jasper Maraveles and I am here to discuss you the hypertension and heart failure. Hypertension or high blood pressure is when the pressure in your blood vessel is too high, 140/90 or higher. It is common but be serious if not treated. People with high blood pressure may not feel symptoms. The only way to know is to get your blood pressure checked or magpa-BP. The person who are the high risk of having hypertension are older age, genetic, or naayam kaliwat nga hypertensive, being overweight or obese, kanang sobraan ra katambok, and drinking too much alcohol. The symptoms are headache, vomiting, chest pain, and blurred vision. The treatment of hypertension are eating a healthy, low-salt diet, being physically active, and quitting tobacco. Next is the heart failure. It is a condition in which your heart can't pump enough blood to your body. This causes you to have shortness of breath, maglisod pag ginhawa, and fatigue that tends of increase with activity. Heart failure also can cause swelling in your feet, ankles, legs, and abdomen. The symptoms of having heart failure are shortness of breath, fatigue, and weakness, swelling in the legs, ankles, and feet. and rapid regular heartbeats